coming up year is going to be the year that we turn that dial and really pour gas to the fire. So
It was bigger than that. It was not just trying to figure out where to put our money. It was trying to honestly fill a need and find a purpose in our small community that we are.
yeah, but let's also not forget that we had a rude awakening very on in our business model, right? We realized really fast that we needed to protect this
So
brand that
it's
we were.
really cool. We've got so many courses from manager course to a marketing course, a barista course, training, handbook, espresso, you name it. There's courses just because.
Welcome to the Grit Behind the Grind podcast, where we dive deep into raw, unfiltered journey of entrepreneurship, fitness, mental health, and building businesses from the ground up. I'm Eric Rao, co-founder of Grit and Grind Coffee, real estate developer, fitness enthusiast, dad, and husband.
And I'm Destiny Rao, co-founder of Grit and Grind Coffee, creative, brand strategist, and above all, mom and wife, bringing you real talk on what it takes to thrive as a business owner, especially when you're doing it alongside your partner. Here, we don't just focus on the wins. We dig deep into the struggles, the sacrifices, and the daily grind that it takes to make it all possible. So tune in, subscribe, and get ready to uncover the grit behind the grind.
What's up, everybody? Today, we're going to kind of dive in to our history of Grit and Grind Coffee. Like, how did we create this brand and business? And then just give you a little bit of context on, what it looks like to be a part of Grit and Grind Coffee.
Yeah, so our origin story, like we need to put that into the universe.
Yeah, for sure. Let's start out by just kind of telling people how we got started. Like, where did this idea come from? Like, what was the whole thought process behind that?
So, year to date, we are under 3 years ago. If we roll this footage back and go back to the very beginning before Grit and Grind was just a concept on a piece of paper and a really late night of binge watching YouTube channels. And so, 3 short years ago, we had this idea. Trying to figure out really how we can make our money make us more money. We were really
Yeah,
big
we
into
were looking
real
for
estate.
investments.
Yeah, really big in to real estate. And about that time, July, summer of 2022, there just
Yeah.
wasn't a lot of our ideal kind of investments on the market as far as smaller houses to kind of fix and flip. And so we were trying to figure out what other sources, vehicles we can use to essentially take that chunk of money that we had been saving super hard on to reinvest it into something.
Yeah, I remember we was going down this path because we flipped a few residential homes and we was like, man, I really like this, but we couldn't find any, right? It was just that time of, the whole COVID situation and everything. So we started looking at food trucks because I know me and Destiny are big on like, we want to test our concept, right? Like I want to be a side hustle and then kind of like figure out, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? So we're very, risk averse. We want to make sure that we have multiple exit strategies. And that led us to food trucks because we were like, okay, I want to start a business. I want it to make me money. I want it to be an investment, but I don't want to spend like all my capital or hundreds of thousands of dollars. So like it kept going back to food trucks, but every time we would go to food trucks, it was like, it doesn't seem like a right feel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Like, I mean, you could probably talk a little bit about, the main reason that it wasn't our feel was because we couldn't see ourselves flipping burgers or being in a taco truck, right? And Destiny's background, which we'll dive into here in just a second, but she wanted to be able to create something visually, aesthetically pleasing, right?
Yeah, and every time we talked about food, there was just no vision as far as the value proposition that we could bring to our small community. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got food on every corner. There was a few, maybe mobile food trucks around, but um, it was bigger than that. It was not just trying to figure out where to put our money. It was trying to honestly fill a need and find a purpose in our small community that we are transplants from. This is not our
Hmm.
hometown, and so just trying to figure out what can we leave here when we decide to maybe move eventually. Our
Yeah.
downtown
So
did not have a coffee shop. And so at that point, I never drank coffee or made coffee before my life. So I was just like, okay. But the storyteller in me and the brander and creator in me, I could see this whole vision and very purposeful. Eric traveled so much for his previous job, and like the first stop we would ever go to is try and find a coffee shop. And so I was like, why does this downtown not have a coffee shop? So in a sense, we were almost being rebels too, because yeah, we could go downtown and do a coffee shop like everyone else, but let's take this coffee thing and do something that no one else really 3 years ago, not a lot of people were actually doing, and that's mobile coffee.
Yeah, I know we're big on like not wanting to do the same thing that the guy
I
down the
know.
road is doing. For some reason, we just don't see value in that. So we definitely wanted to create our
We're
own thing.
rebels.
Yeah. So yeah, basically we started in a small town, never did coffee before, started researching investment opportunities, which led us to filling this need in our community, which was mobile coffee at the time. In a short matter of time, we've seen rapid growth. We started licensing our brand 2 years ago. So like 1 year in, we started licensing, right? And so the way that we started licensing somebody, we did not start out thinking, hey, we want to go license or franchise our brand. Like we just seen extraordinary growth, and somebody reached out to us and said, hey, would you mind mentoring me or coaching me? I would like to do the same thing, start a mobile coffee business. And we was like, yeah, sure. By the time we got done with that call, we were all like, maybe we should do this together, right? Like, why don't we open up a second location of Grit and Grind and you be the owner in that area of the Grit and Grind Coffee? And we were just thinking, like, hey, this person aligns with us really well, and we're looking to scale and grow. And I think it just kind of all made sense at that moment in time, right?
But there's
But
so much. Like the reason that we were ready and we were at that stage to be able to offer the opportunity to someone is because we built an infrastructure to allow us to do that. What I mean by that, we created SOPs. We had a system and a process for everything from day one. Eric and I kind of knew like we really didn't want to work in a coffee shop all like I wasn't going to leave my real job and do this like all day every day. That was never the goal. The goal was to get someone to come in and then manage because I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I work really well by myself. And so building a team was a little terrifying. But the reason we said yes and we're like, yes, we can maybe take on this first kind of partnership is because we had all those things. And those are the things a lot of people don't like to do because those are the unsexy things about being an entrepreneur, owning your own businesses,
yeah.
writing down the lame SOPs, step 1, 2, 3. This is how you make sweet cream. This is how you pull a shot. Getting uncomfortable and making videos where people can actually see you. Like, no one likes to do that, but it's paid off.
Yeah, but let's also not forget that we had a rude awakening very on in our business model, right? We realized really fast that we needed to protect this brand that we were creating because about three license deals in, we partnered with someone who really doesn't have the same core values as we had, right? So we actually exited that agreement, parted ways, and that forced us to really focus on, hey, how do we start protecting the brand and have brand consistency and those type of things, which ultimately led us to franchising. Because franchising, what we've learned, gives us more tools to protect the brand.
And
And so that's
when we say brand, it means to protect everyone else in our organization who is investing in the future of Grit and Grind. We are
yeah,
literally community and family, and our sole job felt very invaded when we couldn't protect them. And
yeah.
so having a franchise and being able to have those brand standards protects everyone who is leaving their real jobs to pursue this brand, and it's crazy. It's pretty cool though.
So let's talk a little bit about like our backgrounds. Like, how did we get here? What did we do before Grit and Grind Coffee? A little bit about that. So I'll let you start, Des. Give your kind of, highlighted
Gosh.
version of your backstory.
I learned way early in, probably senior in high school, that a 9 to 5 was not really cut out for me. Um, And so I really love the freedom to do what I want, to make my own schedule, to be a creative. So right out of college, I got a degree in marketing and graphic design, got super into photography, absolutely loved that. About that time, we had a son. And so I was able to bring Braden to photo shoots, and just clients would come to the house and he would be playing in the playroom or his room. And it was everything that I ever wanted as a creative. And so I've been a photographer for the last 18, 19 years going on. And that was my sole kind of passion and purpose. And then along the way, just helping other entrepreneurs, I kind of niched down to branding photography, which opened up a whole nother aspect of purpose in life. I was now able to help other people like me use photography and use content to, just grow their business. And that was fulfilling in a whole nother aspect. And then coffee knocked on my door and I was like, oh my gosh, buy photography, buy camera. But I never realized how much I get to use all my previous skills and talents now. And this, looking back now, I'm like, this was my purpose. Like everything was a setup for this brand, and it's pretty dang cool.
Yeah. So many people like kind of ask, what made y'all so successful? And I mean, I tell them jokingly, it's just a million things, right? But part of that was your creative brain and your gift with photography, right? Because we know that we can have like the best product in the world, but if you don't show that to others and they're not able to see that, because we live in a day and age where society, kind of picks and choose what they, allocate their time to. And basically, if we don't have something that kind of grabs them and is visually aesthetically pleasing, then, you're losing that potential customer. So I think that's been a really big added benefit.
Yeah. And it goes back to being able to be a storyteller. And I did that without words or video. I solely only had a still photo to be able to tell a story for a family. And it resonated and it transferred so much into being able to create content and use photography just as one catalyst into Grit and Grind, but to be able to tell our brand story and who we are and our core values, not just show you a pretty photo of a coffee, but to, manipulate items or little specific things inside of a photo, even if it is a coffee, to tell a story of that drink. And so it's been a cool ride. In between there, I taught a little bit at high school. I had in between a break with photography, I was like, let me go teach these kids a little something, some graphic design. And that was really cool too, because another notch on my belt, I had education and I taught in the midst of COVID. So guess what? I had to learn how to teach virtual. Well, look now, like everything we do is training from across state lines. It was just such a good setup. And I look back and it's amazing, really.
Yeah. So a little bit about me is, my background is adult education in the construction industry field primarily. So I have a background in occupational health and safety, which just basically means that I understood regulations, federal and state level, for companies to adhere to make sure that they were in compliance. And then also one of the ways that I did that was I taught on the topics that the regulatory agencies said that you need to basically, train your employees on. So like I was that counterpiece for large construction companies. And this all kind of basically translated in so well to franchising because like Destiny saying, she had the photography skills, she had virtual teaching for during COVID at high schools, and I'm teaching adult education, also making sure that I am well-rounded and knowledgeable on regulatory compliance. And man, if we didn't know that is exactly what you need to franchise, bro, it was it kind of just went very, very well. You think about, like, I look back and sometimes we are hiring and looking for new talent for our team, and I'm like, man, all right, I know what to kind of look for, because we came in the gate not even knowing anything about franchising, but it just worked out so well. All of the tools and gifts that we had in our previous life basically just translated so seamlessly.
In our previous life, we were reincarnated, baby.
That's right. So, but another thing about both of us, we're both fitness enthusiasts and focused on self-development, right? I mean, The biggest thing for us is we live in a mindset to where if we're not growing, we're dying. And, we've went through enough trying times in our life to realize, hey, look, we have a short amount of time on this earth and we want to maximize it and we want to learn all the things and be educated and continue to just grow physically, mentally, personally, all those things.
Yeah.
So,
And in order to be able to do all the things that we set out to do, it's hard crap. I'm not going to lie. But getting up every morning, starting our day and going to the gym isn't about gaining muscles, gaining stamina, although that is great. It builds that grit, like literally. Like, so if I get up I don't feel like getting up any morning. My soul is like, no, stay in bed. And Eric literally drags me out of bed 9 times out of 10. And getting up, that's the first challenge. And then getting there and looking at the board and realizing this workout's going to suck. There is nothing else the rest of the day that could ever compare to those two, tasks. And now I can literally feel like I could conquer anything. Throw anything at me. Oh, someone called in. Awesome. Got it. Oh, someone's have to go put out 16 fires for 7 different owners. Fine. Got it. And it just makes every issue or, bad, dark cloud look like it's not even non-existent. And it just helps in that and the most about that.
yeah, I think that just is a testament to our mindset, right? And it doesn't really matter what we do. Like, we're going to be successful, right? That's our mindset. So that kind of translates into the next, I guess, little bullet point that we want to talk about is our growth. Like, what have we experienced growth wise in our company and like what our goals are? So you want to kind of talk about what we've done and then I'll
Yeah.
talk about where we're going?
Yeah, so like 2022, like I said, August 1st, first year, we got our feet wet, roll into Q1 of 2023. We got that hard inquiry about licensing. I mean, 2023 was insane. We brought on, what, 2 or 3 new licensees.
I
You
think
roll
4
into,
altogether, which I mean, we got rid
yeah,
of one, but yeah.
yeah. Then you roll into literally 2024, which is this year. And man, we moved over into franchising. So all of our licensees seen the benefit that we have and the brand integrity that we want to keep. And we didn't have to sell them. It was, all the benefits was there. So now what do we got? Man, 10
So
locations, 8.
yeah, but I mean, we've got 5 franchisees that we onboarded, basically since we started, and that was just in 2024. So we went from licensing, right? And then we moved to franchising. And so this year actually was our first year in franchising. And like Destiny said, all of those people that we were already doing business with, they've seen the value in our company and we signed franchise agreements with them. Currently have, what is it, 7 owners in 10 locations. So, 7 owners, 10
Today.
locations.
Open
Yeah,
today, not
right.
in contract. We have more than that in contract. So,
Yeah, we got some people that are in the pipeline and development stage of it. But that's kind of what we've done so far. What we're trying to do and the goal for the next year is 30 new territories that we're going to award people that we basically see that are aligned with our brand and our values. And what our target for that is, mostly we're probably only going to do like 15, 20 deals because most of those people are going to see the value and they're going to buy multi locations and territories. But yeah, it's really just making sure that we have the team systems in place to support that. And then once we realize that we do have the team systems and support to support the growth, this coming up year is going to be the year that we turn that dial and really pour gas to the fire. So super excited about that. It's going to be really an awesome time in our business.
yeah. And it's not just me and Eric either. Since 2022, we've, of course, grew and nurtured owners, locations, and operators, but we also added to our corporate team. I mean, we've got CFOs, development directors, we've got brand strategists, we've got a little bit of everything. Everyone has a different strength. And we have this beautiful team that helps us grow. So, not only have we grown our brand, but also our franchise kind of
Yeah.
silo too.
Well, it kind of goes back to like what our priorities are, right? And our priorities are not to sell, 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 right? We want to make sure that we have an organization that is set up with the solid and right foundation. And what that looks like is we've reinvested into our company multiple times and we have a very, very strong operations development team. So, yeah, definitely excited. And I think the big thing there is really started very young in our company, building the right foundation and the right blocks, right? And we didn't really hit the gas pedal until we were ready. So
It wasn't about
definitely,
numbers for us as far as how many units can we get out. It was the quality of those units and really the quality of the people. The unit really wasn't a big thing. We're looking to invest in people and people to invest in our brand, really. It's a marathon thing. But
yeah.
okay, where we're going, where we come from, but what sets us apart?
Yes, I love basically telling people our story because I believe in it so much. And there's hundreds of things that sets us apart from other franchises, other coffee industries and businesses. But I like to give people, the nitty gritty on the things that I think are important, that are important to most people, right? To start out with, number one, we talked like we're real estate people, right? And part of our core values is kind of treating people how we want to be treated. Ultimately, as investors, as business owners, we want to have assets because assets reduce our risk. So part of our strategy is we have a variety of real estate options. So you think about like other business models, you might only be able to go into a strip mall, new construction, and you have all of these parameters that you have to work around. But our one of our business models is the mobile coffee model, and we like to look at this mobile coffee model as you can actually go to a blank vacant land real estate piece, like, so there's no infrastructure or buildings on this property. Now you can go take a mobile coffee trailer and set it on this property and now just turn it to a piece of real estate that you own and now have a full-time mobile coffee business running off of that piece of property. But not only vacant land, but it's existing parking lots. So there might be already shopping plaza or mall that you can go lease a piece of that parking lot and then run your business out of there. And then you have the whole other model, which is fully mobile. So you can pop up and do different events and go to different cities and towns each and every day. So you have so many different options whenever it comes to launching in our mobile concept first. So that's kind of part of it. That's what really sets our business model apart from other people. Not only does that mobile model have so many different options to launch and operate successfully, but it's a lower upfront cost. And you can start generating income. And what we've seen be super successful is you get the mobile unit, you start generating income, building a customer base, and then you start building out your permanent storefront, drive-through coffee stand. You take your mobile unit to the next town over that you're trying to build customer awareness in, and then test the market before you invest in that large construction real estate build out. So that's part of it. And I love talking about that because it's the piece that excites me the most. But other things that our brand offers, I know that, Destiny has built out this beautiful e-learning platform. And when you think about building out an e-learning platform, some people might have that, but they've used this template that everyone used. For example, like this generic thing online that is a short video on how to make coffee, right? That is not at all what we have. Tell them a little bit about the e-learning platform, Des.
We literally built this thing from a blank canvas, and it is so on brand, I guess you can say. Every video is going to be me, Eric, one of our corporate owner, no, not owners.
Lead trainers are
Yes,
owners. Yeah, a
trainers.
little bit of both.
a
Yeah.
little, a little. I was just thinking. I was like, Jordan might be in some. No, wait, Shelby's in some. So it's going to be a wide variety of a little bit of everyone that you will probably meet eventually along the line, who is teaching you and not really teaching you, but helping you lead others too. And so it's really cool. We've got so many courses, from manager course to a marketing course, a barista course, training, handbook, espresso, you name it. There's courses, just because, let's be real, I can give you a whole PDF and a handbook. Ain't no one gonna read it. Nobody's gonna
It's
read
like
it.
the directions on a toy you put together for your kid. No one's reading
I
that
would
stuff.
read it, but men, they're gonna look at the pictures. But guess what? We're gonna one up it because it just doesn't have pictures. It has videos. You just sit and listen, and it's mobile friendly. I'm biased, of course, but we've put it into action. Corporate built it out, implemented it into our new hiring. Our staff, the onboarding and the hiring of our staff went from a 3 to 4 week span to about a week and 2 days. She was ready to go and run the shop by herself. So it there's so many benefits to it. Not only are we able to train our baristas and our leads, but we're also able to kind of make sure that we save a little bit on that staffing or that training period because that does kind of
Yeah.
eat a hole in your pocket whenever
Not
you're
only that piece,
training.
I mean, you got the whole like in-house barista for each location. It buys back their time and it
Mhm.
saves them on labor costs. But then you've got the whole onboarding course that teaches you remotely how to run a successful coffee business from afar, and you have 24-hour access to that 365 days a week, right? So it's very, hands-on where it's buying back labor costs, but it's also allowing you to learn how to be a coffee shop owner. So we kind of have multiple. How many courses do you think we have in our system?
Probably
Probably at
12.
12
I'm looking at
dozen
my little
different
sticky note right
courses.
here. Probably,
Yeah.
probably, probably like 12. And
So
we've got more in the making too.
yeah. And these are very extensive courses. Like I said, one course might be for owners to launch and learn everything about running a coffee shop. One might be for a barista to learn all the holiday drinks, right? And then so on and so on. So it's definitely really cool to have that software, especially at such a young company we've learned. Another thing that sets us completely apart from our competitors is that we have our own in-house roastery. So we have our proprietary signature blend coffees, but I mean, several other coffee shops have that as well, right? But what several other coffee shops do not have is a whole software online ordering platform for all of my franchisees that have a very, very legit network logistically wise. So basically, the ordering process plus the shipping and logistics to get all of that orders processed is very, very dialed in, right?
Mhm.
So there is zero delays or anything like that when we're talking about reaching anybody in the continental US, right? When we need to get them product.
Yeah, there's no
So I'm
bottleneck at all in the roastery or the getting your core ingredient, your bean. Quality is always there. It's always consistent. And so, in a lot of other places, that might be the bottleneck. And so,
yeah.
not here though.
For sure. And then also like our brand partnerships. I mean, we've spent, countless time and money building up partnerships. And honestly, at a very young age and young company, we have put ourselves in really high level rooms and structured partner deals to where now everybody that's inside of our organization and all of our franchisees get exclusive discounted coffee beans, they get product, they
Trailers.
get equipment, all of these things where it's national manufacturers and brand leaders and industry leaders that we have all these partnerships with that we basically pass along all of the discounts. So you come into Grit and Grind Coffee, you automatically get a discount on all of our large espresso equipment and grinders and everything you need to kind of get started, which saves you on your cost to build out, which allows you to have a faster ROI, because that's our number one
That's
goal,
our,
right?
yep,
For you is we want to make sure that you are making as much money as possible and
as
highly
fast as you
profitable.
can.
Yes. Why, Des?
Because if you have one quickly um, paid off unit, you're going to get another and you're going to get
Yeah.
another. And that's our priority is to make sure that you have support, that your margins are going to be as large as possible so you can get your ROI as quick as possible. Cuz let's be real, like if it takes you 5 years to see an ROI, you might get bored and go move on to something else and another investment and just always have one unit. That's not our goal. We want, it's a marathon with us. And it's, like I said, it's a personal trait. We want your strengths and your talents, not just your royalties, you know.
For sure. And so the last thing I probably, like I said, there's so many different things. The last thing I'll try to touch on is our in-house marketing team, right? So Destiny leads an in-house marketing team. And this is not just any old marketing team, right? Like I would put Destiny and her team up against anybody in the country. And we've spent a lot of money outsourcing marketing projects.
Yep.
And man, we always
I have to go back and rebuild them because they suck.
Exactly. So, you know, all right. So lastly, let's just kind of jump into our core values, right? Because, you know, not everybody that wants to be a part of Grit and Grind Coffee, we allow in. We are very kind of protective of who we allow to come in because we need to make sure that you have personal traits that are going to allow you to be successful. And we gauge those in very simple terms. I mean, do you align with our core values? Yes or no?
Core values.
Yeah.
What are they?
Love others. Number one. I know that.
Yes.
You know.
No. Core values are going to be love others, spread light, and work hard. As simple as it can possibly be, but a lot of people can talk it, but few walk it. And so loving others is just simply, just like Eric said, treating people like you want to be treated, going above and beyond, having a little empathy, slowing down and realizing, you know, not everyone might be having the greatest day, being selfless. And then spreading light is just a little extension of that. Taking those few extra little efforts to tell someone, hey, your outfit's super cute, or I love seeing you every day, or hey, where are you going today? You usually you come in at 7, it's 8 o'clock, and just having those conversations. And then the epitome of everything that we embody with our name being Grit and Grind, it's work hard. It's give 110%, if no matter if you're filling up napkins in a napkin dispenser, or if you are mopping a floor, or if you're doing a delivery. Like, we're doing it 110%. And that's the culture that we're creating. And if you're surrounding us for any short, you know, period of time, those things are going to wear off on you. I heard someone say, like, if you are around high achievers, you increase by like 15% productivity. If you're around low achievers, you decrease your productivity by like double that, like 28 or 29%. Like, you get to choose who you're around. At Grit and Grind, you are going to be around high functioning, high achievers. You're going to be around people who are giving 110% every day. And mediocre usually doesn't hang out with us very long.
Yeah, they get out of the way real quick. All right, so that was kind of a lot. That gives everybody a little bit glimpse of Grit and Grind, how we got started, where we're going, our growth, and what it looks like to kind of be a part of the Grit and Grind family. So for those people who are interested in possibly owning their own Grit and Grind business or know someone, then reach out to us on our website. Our website is gritandgrind.coffee. Or you can email us. Our email is franchising@gritandgrind.coffee. Also follow us on all of our social media pages. Instagram is probably where we're most active, I guess you would say.
Yep.
But, you know, you can definitely get us up on Facebook, LinkedIn, all of those places. Like this podcast too. Yeah. So anyways, all right, everybody, peace. We're out.